Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be another movie review for you guys. Now, this is what I'm going to be reviewing. I'm reviewing this movie for specifically one purpose. If you know, the sequel to this movie came out this weekend, and I am definitely going to watch it on Solar Movie, but I figured, you know what, I need to watch the first one first. This is going to be my review for the 2010 comedy film Hot Tub Time Machine. Now, Hot Tub Time Machine. When this movie first came out, I was not allowed. I could not watch it. I didn't get a chance. I have YouTube reviews and things like that, so I never watched the first one. And I decided, you know what, let's watch the first one to see how it was. I did not expect it to be really good. And I have to say, I kind of love Top Tub Time Machine. This is such a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It had a lot of heart to it. And there was a lot of things I did not know that the movie was going to do that I really loved that it did. Now, I will say, I do not know if this movie necessarily needs a sequel, but I like the first one for what it is. And let me get to the plot of Hot Tub Time Machine. Pretty simple plot overall. You have these four guys, you have these four guys, Adam, Lou, and, well, three guys, Adam, Lou, and Nick. They used to be very good friends in the 1980s, and they haven't spoken to each other in a very long time. They all have very run-down jobs, and there's also Adam's assistant, Jacob, who basically, what ends up happening is that Adam gets a call from Nick that Lou has ingested carbon monoxide, and basically they think that he wants to kill himself. So they decide, he claims that he didn't want to, so they decide to take him back to the good old times at their favorite, at this bar, the bar they used to be, this like ski resort they used to go to in the 1980s, but they find out that it's really run down, it's really fallen down hard times, and the only thing that really works and is actually fun is this time machine. They decide to have a really fun time in the time machine. They get really drunk, and somehow they all go into the time machine, and when they wake up, they then realize that they have gone back to 1986 when they were in the Winterfest and when their lives were a lot better. So they decide to sort of take advantage of the fact that they're in 1986 and try to fix things, and that's basically the plot of Hot Tub Time Machine. And also, you have Jacob trying to figure out, should he, is he gonna die or whatever? Is he no longer going to exist and things like that? And that's basically the plot of Hot Tub Time Machine. And I gotta say, that was a really good plot, and there are a lot of things I do have to say. First of all, I must say, I've said this in my Project Almanac review, I am a sucker for time travel. Anything time travel, I'm in. I think it's a really cool concept. There's a lot you can do with it, and this movie takes that to its advantage. There's a lot of things I did not know this movie was going to do, and I know I keep saying that, but there were a lot of things I didn't know it was going to do. First, I want to get to the acting in this movie. Everyone in this movie was actually really good, and I have to say, the four guys together worked perfectly. They were so funny at points to watch in this movie. Just their reactions to what they were doing was so funny. They had so many great reactions, and I really loved all the four of them as an ensemble. They all work great together. John Cusack as Adam is really great. His thing is that he really doesn't have much of a life. He is trying to, the thing that he wants to change in the 1980s is that his girlfriend he broke up with his girlfriend, and he wants to not break up with her and see if they can have a better relationship and everything. And I really liked his character overall. He's a really likable guy. He's really funny at points. Really, he was very funny and had me cracking up a lot of times. He had some really nice moments, and I thought him trying to reunite with his girlfriend was really funny. There's actually a fun plot twist with her, though, which I liked as well, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Definitely, I thought he was really good. However, the two people that steal the show in this movie are Rob Corddry and Craig Robinson. These two have so many funny moments. Rob Corddry especially. He is totally just the guy that wants to hook up with, like, every single girl. He just wants to have sex with them, and he's so funny to watch, and it just makes you think, why would this guy try to kill himself? He's claiming he doesn't want to kill himself, but he has so many funny stories in this movie, but there's also a lot of heart from him, because you see that he really doesn't have much of a life, and he used to have a big life, and he wants to actually be very successful in the 1980s, and I really like there are some great twists with his character as well. One twist with his character towards the end of the movie had me cracking up hysterically. It is so funny. I love the twist with his character. He was so funny, and he did a great job. So many funny lines from him, and just hilarious. One situation he gets stuck in with Craig Robinson's character, absolutely hilarious. Let's talk about Craig Robinson as Nick Weber Agnew. In my opinion, I think he honestly is one of the most I think he's the second most sympathetic character. The most sympathetic is Lou, but he's the second most sympathetic, because in the beginning of the movie, we see that he runs this dog shop, and his wife ends up revealing to him that she's been unfaithful and that she's cheated on him. And he basically decides that, he's done with her and everything. So what he decides to do in the 1980s is he had this music career basically. And he stopped pursuing it because he performed in front of an audience in the 1980s at the ski lodge, and everybody booed him. So he really wants to fix it, and I really like that storyline of him trying to fix his career. It really shows that it's not the end, and again, it really takes advantage of what could you change if you could change it. And I really like that the movie did that, and I thought he was really fun. He had me cracking up at points in the movie as well. So funny, and he was just so fun. Loved him in the movie. He was hilarious. Clark Duke also as Jacob was great. I thought he was very funny, especially the fact that he is involved in all this crazy shit, and he's trying to make sure that whatever happens, he doesn't just go away, and he doesn't just like vanish. I thought he was hilarious to watch, and I thought he was very, very funny in the movie. Definitely really enjoyed his character as well. He was very funny, and I also want the only other person I'm going to talk about is Chevy Chase, who was really funny in the movie. I thought he was really good. Colette Wolfe was really good. Crispin Glover has a hilarious cameo. Not a hilarious cameo, but he's really funny in the movie as well as his character Phil. Really funny thing happens with him. I thought he was really great, and he just did a really good job. Now let's get to the directing in this movie. Now I will say the directing, the director Steve Pink, I haven't really liked a lot of his movies. I haven't. I mean, the movies he's done, High Fidelity, I really like. I think that's a really good movie. Accepted was, it was okay, but I thought he was really good directing this movie. I'd have to assume that he was a teenager in the 80s because he had so much fun directing this movie. He really took the advantage of making this a time travel movie and just really used it perfectly. Because one of the things I did not know this movie was going to do was be as self-aware as it was. So many moments in the movie, they make fun of other time travel movies. There's a scene where they're talking about the butterfly effect. There's a scene where they're talking about Back to the Future. They reference about every single time travel movie you could, and it's not just like they're referencing it. No, they're thinking about because it's happening to them, and it's so self-aware because it makes up fun of the fact that they just went to a time machine, and it makes fun of the fact that there are four men naked in a time machine, and it makes fun of the fact that the time machine is, that the hot tub is a time machine, and it's really funny that they did that. I love it. They make fun of those things, and I didn't know the movie was going to be as self-aware as it was, and I think the directing was just perfect to this movie. It was very funny. It had so many 80s references. Now, part of the reason I might have loved this movie as much as I did is because I'm doing a school musical in my school. Our school musical is The Wedding Singer, and maybe it's because I'm just in that time period and I'm really enjoying the 1980s. Enjoying the musical so much, and I'm enjoying the 1980s. Maybe that's why I enjoyed the movie as much as I did. But I honestly feel that he just did a very good job directing it. I thought he was really good, and I definitely enjoyed his directing. The screenplay of this movie was really good and has a lot of heart to it because each one of these guys, really, they're going through a hard time, and you really do care about each of them, and I liked how much we cared about them. I didn't think I was going to care about them at all, and I cared about each and every one of them. I wanted them to fix their lives and see if there were any advantages to changing, the 1980s, there was any sort of advantage to that, and I think it was really well done that they did that. I definitely really enjoyed that a lot, and I didn't know the movie was going to do that, and it's something I really appreciated. I thought that was really, really great that the movie did that. The cinematography is really good. Any scene where they're going back in time was awesome. I thought some of the cinematography was really good. The editing was really good as well. This movie flew by like that, and it's not short. It's pretty short overall. It's 99 minutes, but it flew by, and I really had a great time watching it. The editing was just a lot of fun, definitely. They really had a lot of fun with the editing. The way they did things, I definitely enjoyed, and I thought that was really great as well. I will say also, the biggest thing that a comedy has to do, and everyone's talking about this, the one thing a movie has to do to make you laugh is have comedy. This movie is hilarious at times. I said this before. It had me cracking up. So many funny scenes in this movie. A lot of references to 1980s. A lot of references to the fact that they're not from the 1980s at the point, like they've been in the future. And there's this one great scene where Nick is singing the song. He's singing a song to the crowd, and he ends up killing them for him. So he sings them a version of "Let's Get It Started," and seeing the reaction on their face was just hilarious to watch. It really reminds you of when Marty McFly sings "Johnny Be Good," and he plays like that 1980s guitar solo. And I will say, this movie has so many parallels to Back to the Future, and I didn't know the movie was going to do that, but I love that the movie did that because it should feel that way. It thinks, well, Back to the Future is so successful, well, let's try that, and it works really well. It doesn't feel like, oh, they're just referencing Back to the Future. No, it just works. It just works. Everything about this movie just works, in my opinion. The score to this movie, so many 1980s songs, so many fun 1980s songs. One that is referenced so much, but it's so funny the way it's referenced, and I love that. And the cinematography was, I mean, not cinematography, the score was so fun. All the 80s songs was awesome to listen to, and I love the soundtrack of this movie, definitely. It's definitely a soundtrack where if you're from the 1980s, you are going to love this movie. I'm going to say that right now. If you were a teenager in the 1980s, you are going to absolutely love this movie, because this movie takes that advantage perfectly, and I love that. And the end credit scene at the end of this movie was awesome. I'm going to say that right now. I love the end credit scene at the end of this movie. It was so awesome, and I loved it. Now, of course, there is the question of, does this movie need a sequel? Okay. I am going to say that I would not mind a sequel. I really wouldn't. I think that the sequel to, if they were to make a sequel to this movie, hang on one second, guys. I'm just responding to something on Facebook. Okay, I think if they really wanted to make a sequel to this movie, which I know, of course, the sequel's out, do I really want to see it? I think it could be a fun movie. Here's the thing, let's just see what they can do with a sequel, because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know this movie was going to do. I didn't think this movie was going to be good. I don't think the second one is going to be very good, because I know they replaced John Cusack's character with with someone else. I don't remember who it is, but they replaced him with someone else, and I'm interested in seeing how that's going to go overall. But I have to say, this movie was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think if you go in with low expectations, you're actually going to really enjoy it. Now, I can see if someone does not like this movie because of the raunchy humor and everything. For me, it just worked really well. I thought it was very funny. And plus, these guys are like in their 30s and their 40s and things like that. Of course it's going to be raunchy. Of course they're going to take advantage of things like that, because they're guys. That's what they do. If I was them, I probably would have done the same thing. I would have gone back in time and had sex with, as many women. I would have been like, Lou, and have sex with as many women as I could. I would have done things like that. I mean, if I were their age, yeah, totally I'd want to do that. Especially because most of their lives don't really involve women. Of course they do things like that. And this movie really makes you think about, if you could go back in time, what would you change? And I think the movie did a very good job of doing that. That's something I did not know the movie was going to do, and I really enjoyed that the movie did that. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed Hot Tub Time Machine. I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I was. Definitely B+. I'm not going to go like A- because it didn't absolutely like blow me away. But it was a lot of fun to watch, and I really enjoyed it overall. And I think it has some very good messages of just changing things, and how you can change anything, and how anything can just change in a second and change your life completely. And I definitely really enjoyed that. But overall, guys, if my review of Hot Tub Time Machine, let me know what you guys saw of this movie. Do you want to see the sequel? Did you like the first one? Have you seen the first one? Do you even want to see the first one? If you want to see the first one, and if you're curious about the first one, you have not seen the second one, I'd honestly say check this out. I think it's a lot of fun to watch, and I definitely really enjoyed it. And I'm surprised by Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes gave this one a 63%, and they gave the second one a 12%, so I'm definitely not thinking the second one's going to be good at all, but we will see how it is overall, and when I do review it, I'll let you guys know if it's better than the first one. But that's my review. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for my Oscar predictions. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.